Good morning, sunshines. Callie Carroll here. I'm going to give you a Whitten John update today for Good Morning Sunshine. Yay! Good Morning Sunshine is where we gather and we talk about perspective and real life and authentic shit and the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things going from here to the other side, right? So as you jump on, say Good Morning Sunshine, hashtag GMS. Interacting always brings definitely more, you get more out of the conversation. Share something you're grateful for. I'm grateful that it's chemo day. No, I really am. But it is still hard to say because there are some things in your life that you might be grateful for that are not easy still, right? So good morning, Eric. How are you, sunshine? So share your gratitude. Let me give you a Whit and John update, short, sweet, smooth. For most of you guys, you know my son was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer and another rare disease 11 months ago. I can't believe 11 months ago in 2 days, right? And the way that we found the disease was because he was peeing consistently so much that he couldn't even sleep throughout the night. And just splendid myself too, Eric. And so he couldn't sleep throughout the night because he was literally waking up filling the not only his diaper but the bed. We went in and did something called a water deprivation test. It led us to find out that he has a disease called arginine vasopressin deficiency because of a tumor in his pituitary, which is right behind your eyes. And generally, well, a lot of times when a tumor shows up there, it can be this rare cancer called Langerhans cell histiocytosis, which it was. We found like his skull super soft right over here. It still is. Another tumor back here, one in his hip. 2 types of chemotherapy didn't work for him. So we went through and did, a bunch of different things for 4 months. And then he ended up with 5 additional tumors. We started a pretty aggressive chemo in November, and we are on round 8 starting today of that chemo. So that's your full on update of what's been going on. After 2 rounds of his 3rd type of chemotherapy, we went in and everything was going away. After 6 rounds of that aggressive chemo, we went in and 5 of the tumors gone. The one in the head and the one in the hip, the hole in the bones are still there, but there's very little uptake, which means that there's not a lot of cancer showing, which is incredible news. So now we're on this full 6 months. I've read into a lot of people over the last week, month, whatever, like, so you're done with chemo. Like, that's the assumption. But that's not the case with Langerhans cell histiocytosis because it's not like a curable cancer. There's not a lot of research or funding into what really goes on. Yes, pure cancer reduction, Julie. There's not like a lot of money that goes into. There's not a lot of funding for it because it is so rare. So it's in this stage of like this kind of unknown for the last 20, 30 years. And I mean longer, of course, because it's been identified before that, I'm sure. But for him, he does 6 more months after that, like with that positive news of, I would call it like almost like protective care, where instead of doing 5 days of chemo, we're just doing 2 days a week. So we go to chemo today and tomorrow, and then we have 26 days off, and then we start over again, right? We need to do 6 months of that to make sure. I think that part of the reason they do that is because in Langerhans cell histiocytosis, especially his, it's coming from a gene mutation. So like one gene gone rogue, and we want to make sure that the chemo gets that guy, that specific guy, so that he doesn't mutate again. That's kind of the way my brain sees it anyways. After this, there should be a 10 to 15% chance of recurrence. So what's been going on with Whit and John now? Don't get enough funding. I completely 100% agree, right? There's so much out there, Julie, and there's so many rare things, right? So where we've been is after the last 2 days of chemo, you guys, for the last 26 days has been freaking fantastic. I mean, like, he's running around playing like a normal little boy. We took him to my coach's retirement party, and everybody was like, I would have no idea that he's sick at all, right? Like, he's jumping on the trampoline. He's playing with friends. He's starting to get social. It's absolutely amazing. Now, is he a normal little kid? I mean, are any of them, right? And plus he's 2 years old, but he does have some definite things. Like, he still doesn't know how to sleep at night. We still are trying to figure out his ABPD, or his diabetes insipidus, and his medication is like all over the place. Like, it's just, it's wild to me. But so we're up in the middle of the night. He doesn't really eat well, so he has a lot of high protein shakes. So we're trying to figure that out. But he will refuse the majority of food. He's at grandma and grandpa's right now with a nosebleed. I don't know. That's new. There's times where he's out. He's got pain. So there's different things. Oh, let's not mention the footsie pajamas, like the obsession, like the certain things that he has to have for comfort. I mean, assuredly, just like a child eventually learns how to pee and poop in the potty, eventually my kid will not be wearing footsie pajamas, right? He's not going to be 16 going to school in footsie pajamas. I think he's going to go through it. But right now it is weird because it's hot out and we're like, just get out of the footsie pajamas, right? But he will literally freak out. He doesn't have adrenal insufficient. I don't really know actually what that one is. I know I've seen it in the DI group, Julie, because his pituitary is not lighting up. It started with, so your pituitary, for all of us, it has like 7 different primary hormone functions. And if it's not lit up, like if it's been damaged, there's a front side and a back side to your pituitary. The back side is what controls the hormone that makes you stop peeing, your ADVP, and your front side controls everything else. So what happens is for the next ever, but especially the next 16 years, they're going to closely monitor him to see if he has sufficient growth hormone, testosterone, cortisol, all the different things that keeps his body safe. So it's going to be an entire adventure. Like none of this is going away for our family ever. But it's going to be something that there's fake hormones for every single hormone that's attacked. So if something doesn't work, we just have to closely monitor so we can start giving him something to support that function. Not that that makes it easy, especially the cortisol one. We'll learn more about that as I go to more endocrinology appointments. Especially I'll learn more about that. So right now he's been flipping fantastic. It's been an amazing 26 days. Now his numbers, because chemo kills everything in your body, I didn't think they would drop that much, only having 2 days of chemo, but they went almost just as low. So your ANC, your neutrophil count, is basically what's protecting your body, those white blood cells that protect against infection. And when somebody's going through chemotherapy, they have a lowered immune system, a suppressed immune system. And that's generally anything under, I think that the chart shows like 2,100, 1,500 especially, is like, that's low numbers, right? Whitten John sits, around 1,000 on a good day. So he's always immune suppressed. But after his 6 days of chemo, he would drop down to 10, like not 2,000, he would drop down to 10 or 0. This round, he dropped down to 100. So still extremely low. And what that means for us is that if he gets any sort of infection, his body has a hard time getting a fever to even like show that he's fighting something. So if he even has a slight like raised temperature, 100.4, we go into the hospital and then they will hospitalize you until your ANC is over 500. No, that's wrong. Over 100. They have to get it over 100, but they'll hospitalize you if it's under 500. So if we go in and it's under 500, they're like, check in, here's your bed, you're staying until it's over 100, which for us, like last time, it took 5 or 6 days to get to that point. So we still have hideout week. We'll go to chemo today. We'll go to chemo tomorrow. He might barf a couple times. We'll try to figure out, maybe he'll get something to help with his appetite so he starts eating, so maybe he can sleep through the night, so we can figure out his DIs. It's all of that's cluster. And then we'll have 26 days. But the first 2 weeks, we will pretty much not see humans to make sure that we're keeping him away from germs as much as possible so we don't land our stay at a vacation at a hospital, but we can only do our best. Last round, the whole family got the flu, aside from Whitten, John, and I, and Jace. And I'm telling you what, you guys, I have never sterilized our house more, took more vitamins, done more lasering, cleaned everything. We were outside nonstop, kept the house at 64 degrees so that like nothing could like germinate in here. It was wild and it was super challenging. But after every single round of chemo, we've had something very unique go on. There's no theme. There's no like, oh yeah, so at this point he's going to be puking, and then this point he's going to have tummy aches, and he's going to have, nope, it's not like that. It's like, wake up that morning, like, what's going to happen today? And today it was like, oh, nosebleed. I don't know, right? But for us, attitude's good. Positivity, great. Sleeping, not so great, but we wake up and we're thankful that we slept, that we get another day to be awake. And that's really where we are. So we are going to do our 2 days of chemo. That will be round 8. It's going to be infusion number 49, his 49th chemo infusion today. Mind blowing. I can't even believe that. And then we'll have next round where we'll do 2 days, and then we'll do more scans. So we'll do a PET scan to see if anything's lighting up, just to make sure that we're still moving in the right direction before his final one, which would be in September, where we'll do more scans after that. And then we'll keep doing more scans. just keep on that. But we'll know more about his like roadmap later on. I don't know if there's any other questions. I feel like those are the questions people ask me when they see me out and about. Number one thing, they think that he's done with treatment, and we're like, check that off our list. It's never a check that off the list for the family. It's a lifelong journey, but it's, you know, we're learning through it. Perspective wise, you guys, we're growing through it. It's not scary to talk about chemo anymore. You know, it kind of just comes up in natural conversation. You know, bad stuff can happen and we can get through it. And not only do we find ourselves getting through it, but we're able to cope with it in such a way and like with strength that we're able to help other people. This has been one of my favorite things lately. I've been reached out to by families with LCH, newly diagnosed with AVPD, and they're like in that beginning stage where I was so messed up those first 6 months, and I can support them because here I am, having gone through it. And there's probably something in your life, right, that was horrible to get through, but now you have this strength and an ability to support others to get to the other side and realize that, you know, even something like your 2-year-old getting cancer or another disease isn't the end of the world. We get to push forward, we get to move on. And for me, with God and through him, I get to increase my faith and move forward in our lives. And we have hard days, we have a lot of tears, we have a lot of questions, you know, we go through our moments, absolutely. But all in all, we get to do it, right? We get to keep doing life. So that's our Whitten John update, plus a full recap of everything. Thank you guys again, always for all of your support, your love, your continuous show up, all of your super mom votes. You guys are just adorable. I cannot get enough. And if there's any support that you need or anything that I could do, like one of my missions, I feel like right now is to start to connect more on perspective, positivity, supporting if something is going on in your life where maybe I could do more short reels or videos about it. Just reach out and ask questions, or, you know, I might not get back quick, but I'll get back eventually, right? Okay. I love you guys. Light and love from my house to yours. I'm going to go get ready for chemo. We got to get out of here. Bye, guys.